Greetings, my families and friends. It's a new day, and God has been good. The mere fact that we are here today, the mere fact that you are able to watch this video, that simply means that you are alive. We really and truly have to give God thanks because He has been extremely wonderful. God has been good. And the mere fact that you are alive today, that you woke up this morning, it is showing that God has been merciful. Now, there are two testimonies about Geraldine that I would love to share with you guys. But before I go into that, I have to get a few things off the floor first. First and foremost, I hope that in this pandemic, I'm hoping that you all are taking heed. Washing your hands, sanitizing your hands, just doing all of the necessary. Because honestly, this coronavirus thing, I'm not even sure how to describe it, but we are watching the news and we are seeing everything on it. So please, guys, I'm asking you guys to please take heed and follow the necessary, just follow the necessary information that I've passed on to you. Because right now I know that persons on here are tuning in from all over the world, Belize, England, all over the world. And as I continue to talk, please, I'm asking you to share this video. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share. Feel free to spread the word. Because the thing is, you can't keep the blessings to yourselves. We can't keep it to ourselves. We have to share it with other persons. And I'm sure that you all agree with what I'm saying. The next thing is that I'll be posting a particular, when I say a particular piece of information on YouTube. So I'm imploring that you all go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And honestly, that piece that I'm about to upload on YouTube, it has never, when I said never, it has never yet placed on the page that I created for Geraldine Bailey, our daughter. Honestly, when I said that video, I wouldn't say video, that piece of clip, yeah, better yet, that piece of clip, I'm sure that you all are going to be encouraged. Let me give you a sneak peek. It has to do about Geraldine and someone having a particular conversation. And the good thing, I had somebody to fix it up properly for me so I could bring it to you guys. So during the course of today, I will be basically putting it on YouTube, and I'm looking for your support, guys. Please, we are looking for your support. Feel free to spread the word, share, comment, subscribe, like, and just enjoy yourselves in the Lord with all of these testimonies that are about to put forward. Now, I said that I had to share this with you guys because, listen, sometimes we're not listening to the voice of God. And listening to the voice of God, it is very important. I knew how much, basically back then, well, yes, that the voice of the Lord is very important, but Geraldine had, highlighted it some more for me. So let me share this with you. Geraldine was undergoing some radiation, and for persons who know Geraldine, when somebody's doing radiation, over a period of time, no water whatsoever is supposed to touch the area. So we did the radiation, and I had basically asked the doctors, please, if we could go home for the weekend. Well, the good thing, we got our prayers answered and we got discharged for the weekend. Here what happened. When Geraldine and I got to Mandeville, because we had to take a bus from Kingston to Mandeville, and that journey is about 2 hours. And when we got to Mandeville, we had to take another taxi from Mandeville home, which would have been about 14 minutes or 15 minutes drive from Mandeville. So while we got the taxi and we were on our way home on the Winston Jones Highway, for those of you who are familiar with Manchester, there we were on the Winston Jones Highway heading home, and the rain was coming down. So I said openly, I didn't pray it in my heart, I said it openly, so the driver and the other passengers were able to hear me. So when I saw the rain coming down, I was like, God, please let when I reach home the rain is not falling, because I don't want any water to touch the area on Geraldine's head, because at that time she was in the radiation on her head. And I said that prayer openly. Everybody heard in the taxi, heard the prayer, and we continued our journey. But let me clarify something. For persons that are basically overseas, here in Jamaica, it's not. Here in Jamaica, each taxi would have taken maybe about, I would have carried, let me see, about 4 to 5 passengers. So on that day in the taxi, 5 of us were in the taxi, including Geraldine. So Geraldine would have made it to 6 passengers in one taxi. And I said the prayer openly. And I had no idea that Geraldine was listening to me so keenly. So after I said the prayer and the car continued the journey, the rain was coming down even harder. I repeated the same prayer, but this time I repeated it louder. I said, God, please make it that when I reach home, there's no water, there's no rain falling, because I can't afford for the water to touch the radiation area that Geraldine is doing. Honestly, friends, Geraldine turned around because she was seated in my lap. She turned around and she looked at me and she was so angry. She was like, Mommy, Mommy. I mean, openly she said it loud. She said, Mommy, Mommy, God heard you already. God heard you already. It is just that you are not listening. And honestly, I was so frightened. I was so shocked. Everybody in the taxi turned around and looked at me. I felt so small. The way she just blunted it out loud. Even the driver adjusted his mirror and looked at me. Because honestly, I felt, I don't know, but if you guys could put yourselves in my position, God, it's not a good feeling. But the thing is, as she said to me, Mommy, God heard you already, but it is because you are not listening. So what she's saying to me, I'm not listening to the word, I'm not listening to the voice of God. And by the time we got home, the entire place was dry, like dry. No rain fell at where we live. And when we got out of the taxi and Geraldine saw the place was dry and I saw that the entire place was dry, Geraldine looked at me. She was like, Mommy, didn't I tell you that God is going to answer your prayer? So how is it that you let our God look so small? Mommy, how you let God look so small? And honestly, friends, I tell you, I couldn't answer Geraldine. I mean, I couldn't say a word. But this goes to show, and I learned something from Geraldine. At that time, she was 6 years old. Always listen to the voice of God. It is so important. Sometimes you hear God talking to you and you're saying that, well, maybe it's my mind. You hear a voice, you hear the Lord, you hear God telling you, say, listen, stretch your hand to that brother and help. Stretch a money to that sister and help. stretch some food to that stranger and help, and you're sitting there and telling yourselves that no, it's your mind telling no, listen to the voice of God. Always be obedient. Always be obedient. The voice of the Lord is very important. The song says, His voice makes the difference. When I speak, He relieves my troubled mind. It's the only voice I hear that makes the difference. And I will follow one day at a time. Blessings. This other testimony I had to share with you before I go. On the 31st of October 2016, we were basically home. And for Geraldine was fully potty trained from the age of 3 years old. And the 31st of October 2016, Jermaine and I, we were home with Geraldine and Rashid. And Geraldine was sleeping on her bed because she wasn't feeling well from in the day. And honestly, friends, she slept on our bed. But during the course of the night, I woke up and I had to check on her, even though she was right beside me, but I had to check on her. When I checked on her, Geraldine wet the bed. Geraldine peed on the bed. And honestly, we were so shocked because that wasn't like Geraldine. That wasn't like Geraldine at all. And I woke her up immediately. I was, Geraldine, what happened? She was like, Mommy, nothing happened. I said, Geraldine, you wet the bed. And she opened her eyes. She was in shock, just as her dad and I. And when she looked and saw that the bed was wet, Geraldine, I said to her, Geraldine, you know that you wet the bed? She said, no, Mommy. I looked at her again and said, Geraldine, how you know that you wet the bed? She said, Mommy, because you just told me. So that's when my husband and I realized that something is definitely wrong. We carried her to the, well, what happened was that we didn't take her to the doctor at that time. I changed the entire bed fittings and I changed her clothes and she went back to bed. When she went back to bed, the same thing reoccurred. And we said, no, we have to take her to the doctor. When we took Geraldine to the doctor and we explained everything to the doctor, when they examined Geraldine, they realized that Geraldine's abdomen was distended. No, honestly, I've never heard of any situation like that, but when they explained it to me, they explained to my husband and I, we got the full understanding. And you know, when I felt her tummy, it was very stiff, it was very hard. And what they had to do, they had to put a catheter in to drain the urine. Yeah. Honestly, it was very hard for us to see. It was very hard for us to experience because we have never had anything like that. We have never experienced anything like that. And honestly, when we stood there and, you know, Jermaine, my husband, was further out on the front of the hospital floor and I was by Geraldine's bed. And when they put the catheter in, they drained almost 1 bag of urine. And I thought that, well, yes, everything will be okay now, back to normal. We went home. When we went home, the same thing reoccurred. So we went back to the hospital and we told them. They said, Mommy and Daddy, we are sorry, but we have to have the catheter in. By the time they said that to us, Geraldine passed stool on herself. Honestly, that was not like Geraldine. She passed the stool on herself. And I don't know, but listen, I have to share this with you. I have to share this with you because somebody out there needs to hear this. Somebody out there needs to hear this. Geraldine passed stool on herself. The doctors at the hospital had said that they will have to do some test on her to find out what is causing the problem with the bowel. When they did the tests on her, they came back and told us that the cancer has, you know, it's basically affecting her bladder area and her bowel movement. So to put a long story short, Geraldine had to be in diaper. Geraldine had to be in diaper. And honestly, we normally go by the supermarkets, buy diaper, buy wipes, just for her to be comfortable. And with the catheter, we had to get the one that was able to strap. We had to strap it on her legs. Now, we had only one tall dress for her that was able for her to wear to church. And that one was tall enough to cover the catheter. If Geraldine was going to bed, she have to wear trousers. If she was going on the road, she have to wear trousers just to disguise the catheter, the bag itself. And it went on, and it went on, and it went on for months. For months it went on. One day Geraldine was here and Geraldine cried. I said, Geraldine, what happened to you? She was like, Mommy, I want to go to school. I said to her, Geraldine, you know you can't go to school because you're wearing diaper and because you're wearing the catheter. She cried. She said, Mommy, send me to school, put the pampers or put the diapers in my bag and the wipes in my bag. My principal will clean me whenever I pass school. So honestly, Geraldine had no feelings whatsoever. Sometimes when the bag is full, we have to screw there's a screw on it. We have to screw it and empty the bag and then screw it back tight. And sometimes, honestly, unknowingly, I screw it, but it wasn't that tight. And then it would even wet her pants foot. And Geraldine would cry day and night. She would cry day and night. But guess what happened? We told her that, listen, we are not giving up. We are in this together. And honestly, we did it all with the help of God. And as I told you earlier, it went on for months. So she started October. So she went through November, December with catheter and diaper. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September with catheter and diaper. October came on board. And I said we unfortunately we had to be admitted at the hospital by UWI Hospital. And I carried 15 diapers in our bag. And by the time I was there, Geraldine looked at me. Geraldine said, Mommy, she said, you don't have to put any diaper on me again. And I said, what happened, Geraldine? She said, Mommy, I feel my stool coming down. So Geraldine was able to go to the bathroom, pass stool on her own, that she passed stool and having that feeling to pass her stool, she had that again. She had it all over again when Geraldine was able to go to the bathroom, pass her stool, clean herself up, and she's good. So that went on for almost a year. Geraldine was in diaper and catheter for her urine to flow through the catheter. Whenever time the catheter comes out, her abdomen get distended again. So they have to put back the catheter in to drain the liquid or drain the fluid. And there we were, October, we were admitted at the hospital. And I looked at one of the doctor and I said, Doctor, the 31st of this month will make it. 31st of this month will make it to 1 year since Geraldine is... No, I said to the doctor, I said, listen, doctor, I'm on the phone, Kim. I said to the doctor, sorry about that. I said to the doctor, this month is October and November coming will make it 1 year. I'm saying, doctor, please, I'm asking God, please don't let it go into 1 year of Geraldine wearing the catheter. And honestly, I prayed that prayer. But by the time we got discharged to go home, I said to the doctors and the nurses, I said, listen, please, I am asking you, just teach me how to pass the catheter. So at least, because guess what happened? What I forgot to tell you guys. What happened was that even sometimes when Geraldine had the catheter in the middle of the night, We had to get up, get charter taxi in the night to take Geraldine to the hospital because the catheter would have slipped out. Sometimes she got discharged from UWI Hospital, and when she got the discharge from UWI Hospital, and by the time we got home to Manchester, we got home, as we basically put the bag down, we had to head to the other hospital which was close by because the catheter would have fallen out. So sleepless nights. Geraldine have had sleepless nights that, I mean, it basically can't talk about to the amount of sleepless nights that Geraldine have had. Several times that happened for her. She had to leave. She had to leave home and go to the hospital. Sometimes I have to stay here with Rashid, which is our son, and my husband will charter the car and head to the hospital with Geraldine. That time Geraldine was in serious pain, serious pain. And I remember I said to the doctor, I'm praying and hoping that this wouldn't go into 1 year, because it was basically 1 day less to make it a year. So they had taught me, I asked them, I said, listen, please teach me how to pass the catheter, so whenever time we go back home from this hospital, and if needs be, it should happen again, then I, the mother, will know how to do it. Right? They showed me, they did a little sketching on a paper, and they showed me, basically I knew how to do it, because each time that they passed the catheter in the treatment room there, I would have like stood there and saw everything for myself. So it was easy for me to do. The thing was that now I had gotten few items and stuff to do that procedure, right? So on the 29th of October, the 30th of October, sorry, we got discharged. And when we came home the night, we were here and I put the catheter in, everything was okay. But what they had told me is that, because even in previous times, Geraldine was unable to get treatments whatsoever, because the thing was that the catheter, it caused a lot of infections, like back-to-back infections. As they clear up one infection, another one hops on board. Before that one is cleared up, another one hops on board, and that's how it was, back-to-back, back-to-back, back-to-back. And that basically slowed up the process in terms of her getting her chemotherapy, you understand, and the radiation. So we got discharged and we got home. When we got home now, I basically followed the procedure, because what they had said to me is that during the days at home, I could just they have one that they call, I think it's the in-out, or I'm not quite familiar with the name. But the first one they told me about was that during the days at home, I could basically, just insert just get sterile and everything, insert the catheter, drain the urine, and just take it out. But they said that during the night now, being that she's going to go to bed, I should just put in the one that is normally strapped to her legs. And when I put that one in, everything went on that night. The following day, we were at home. And Geraldine, remember I told you that with the catheter, Geraldine wasn't able to wear her little dresses. And when we got home, Geraldine put on her prettiest dress. Because she said to me, Mommy, come, remember what the doctor told you to do. So I went in and I got sterile, and I put the catheter in. I drained the fluid, and then I took it out. So Geraldine so guess what happened? She didn't have the one that was chopped onto her legs. So she said, Mommy, I feel free like a bird. So what she did, she was up on her boat, she put on her prettiest dress, and she was just having fun, and she was just all out there. It's like she was in a cage and she's now out of the cage. And she was so happy. But when it came on to the night, she said to me, Mommy, remember what the doctor said to put the catheter in and to strap it to my legs, being as I'm going to go to my bed. But the thing is, she was listening to Glacier Robinson's The Curse of Death. If you haven't listened to that testimony of Glacier Robinson, you guys need to go find it on YouTube, The Curse of Death. and Geraldine was inside listening to it on her father's phone. I was basically on the veranda. So she pulled the phone from her ears and she was like, Mommy, come and do it now, because come and put the catheter in and strap it on my legs because I'm going to my bed. But I was on the phone. So I said to her, Geraldine, I'll be there shortly, because I'm basically on the phone. When I said that to her, before I could hang up the phone, because when I listened to her in there, when Glacia said, in the testimony of Glacia Robinson, she said, I don't need a wheelchair anymore. And listen, Geraldine said, I don't need a catheter anymore. She said it with that demand. She said, I don't need a catheter anymore. And she was worshiping God. Geraldine was worshiping. And if Glacia said hallelujah 10 times, Geraldine shouted her hallelujah 10 times. And that little girl get mad inside for God. Listen, sometimes we have to get mad for God. Geraldine lost in the sweet love of Jesus. Geraldine was just worshiping, and nobody could contain her. And I only heard Geraldine said, Mommy, come here. When I ran inside, I said, what is it? She said, Mommy, I feel something come down. She said, Mommy, when me feel come down, it's not feces, it's urine. Mommy, I feel me urine coming down. And friends, I took her to the bathroom. I didn't let her use the toilet bowl. I get one of those little bedpan that we had. And I said, sit down, Geraldine. And when that child sit down, Geraldine passed her urine. 1 day less to make it a year. Geraldine passed her urine. Geraldine felt the urge of urinating again. Listen, maybe you wouldn't understand, but Geraldine lifted her faith to God. And when Glacia said, I don't need a wheelchair anymore, because Glacia was in a wheelchair, Geraldine said, I don't need a catheter anymore. And that child lift her hands and she worship and she magnify God. And behold, God came through for her. God came through for her right there and then. When I saw the urine in the bedpan, hello, me say you guys wouldn't understand. That Saturday night, it was about after 10. And my husband and Diane, Geraldine and Rashid, we were outside worshiping God, giving God thanks and praise for answering our prayers. And for answering Geraldine's prayer. Geraldine lifted her faith to God. And God came through for her right there and then. So I'm saying to somebody today, listen, whatever condition you find yourself in today, lift your faith to God. Faith without work is dead. Lift your faith to Almighty God. He said that He will supply all our needs according to His riches in glory. So whatever our needs are, if we need a husband, if we need a car, if we need a child, if we need financial breakthrough, whatever we need, He will supply all our needs according to His riches in glory. I honestly don't know who I'm speaking to at this moment. But listen, lift your faith to God. And He will see you through. Blessings be to you all as we lift our faith to God. It was my pleasure sharing these testimonies with you. And I'm hoping and praying that you get something from it. Please share the word. Let somebody else get the blessing as well. Let somebody else hear this testimony. Somebody else out there needs to hear. To have faith in God that all things will work together. Blessings, blessings, blessings to one and all. And as I said, I hope and pray that this testimony that I shared just now, I'm hoping and praying that it will be a blessing to your soul. Continue to love each other. Continue to give. Continue to share. Continue to have faith in God. Continue to listen to the voice of God. Blessings, my friends. Blessings. Bye-bye.